跟大家介绍哈。Let's welcome Dr. Cook.
Hello, welcome to the bilingual section of today. So I'm not sure, do I get a clicker? Is there a clicker?
Easier to have Christy.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to be talking about two different classes that I have taught in this past year that we've been operating. The first one is New Media and Innovation Technology, but before I get into that, I thought I should introduce myself a little bit because some of you know who I am, some of you have no idea. So as Professor Xu introduced, I'm Chrissy Cook, Dr. Chrissy Cook if you're feeling fancy. I'm from Canada and I've been living in Taiwan for about 2 years. I do research in communication and media psychology. So if you're interested in how people use media, that's kind of what I do. But I specifically study how they use it wrong. So people who do things like trolling or who are hacking, doxing, all those bad kind of behaviors, that's what I study. So now that you have a little bit of an idea of who I am, we can get into the next slide, I think. So the goals of the course, I'll get you to click again. Thank you. I think there's 3. There we go. Oh, thank you. So the goal of the New Media and Information Technology course, Innovation Technology course, is to stand in the correct place, apparently. No, it's to learn about how new media is being used in an industry section. So this course is very much designed to do 2 things, 2 primary things, although there are 3 that you can see, and you're welcome to read all 3 in a summary. I'm not sure why I have to keep moving, but I have to keep moving. So you can see there are 2 main goals with this. You can see that one of them is through dealing with industry. So we have several industry speakers. One of them is a dear friend of mine who works in the esports industry within South Korea and Seoul. And we also have podcasters. We had a podcaster that came and talked to us last year about the Taiwanese ecosystem for podcasting. So you should be able to get an idea of how new media industries work. That's one of the key goals of this. The second one is to improve and increase your confidence in writing in English, because this is a bilingual program and you are coming from a lot of different backgrounds. I've had students that come from a linguistics background. I've had students that come from a business admin background, and it's very, very different, and you're all at different levels. So what this course will allow you to do is become a little more comfortable in writing in different styles. So you'll learn about writing for business in English, writing for journalism, which is kind of the bread and butter of communication science. They love journalism. And finally, you learn a little bit about academic writing. Now, this is not an academic English course, so it won't be quite as in-depth as if you've taken academic English courses in the past, but it'll give you a lot of opportunities to build your confidence in your writing ability. So we can go to the next slide now. So some of the course highlights, as I mentioned, my friend Maurits, who gave a talk last time, I'm hoping if we teach this course again, he'll agree to give another talk. Same thing with Nana Tal. She's a voice actress and podcaster who's based out of a combination of Taichung and Taipei. We're hoping, last year it had to be canceled due to pandemic, but we're hoping to get you all to see Meta headquarters in Xinyi district so you can see what it's like at a social media hub and what kind of things that they do. They'll tell you a little bit about working in social media. And as I said, the chance to build your confidence in your English writing, because this is something that as a graduate of a bilingual program, you're probably going to be asked to do in your career at some point. And I want you to come out of this course feeling like, yes, I can do that, and I'm not scared to write in English. So we give you a lot of opportunities to practice in this class. And you also get to try out content creation with some of the equipment that we have that you can create your own audiovisual project. kind of like a YouTube video or a TikTok video, or rather a lot of TikTok videos because they're very short. Next slide. So, who should take this course? So students who are interested in pursuing any career that could involve technology. So this could be content production, so for example, becoming a YouTuber or a social media on-air talent, or broadcasting talent, for instance. Those who are interested in business analytics and management, we do cover a fair amount of business in this course for those who are interested in the behind the scenes. And anyone who really thinks the technology end of this whole program sounds very interesting, this will give you a broad kind of taster set of everything that you'll learn in the other technology courses. And finally, those who are just kind of like, I like communication, I like technology, I have no idea what I want to do when this is over. This will give you a taste of a lot of different industries and different options that you have after finishing GCIT. So the next course is the course that I'm currently teaching, which is Digital Narratives and New Media Technology. This one is much more focused on writing, and this one is much more focused on stories. And the goal is really to broaden your idea of what a story can be. When most of us think of stories, we think of them in terms of bedtime stories, maybe we heard as kids, or we think of a news story. So this is really going to teach you how to write your own stories, be they fictional or be they non-fictional in a journalism setting, for instance. And we'll also teach you to think more broadly about the impact of stories on our lives, be those the stories from religion, be those the stories from our childhood, be those the stories that we see in the news every day. So we should be able to craft an effective story, both in English, not both in English, in English. So you should be able to write your own stories. A lot of people coming from literature backgrounds tell me they don't actually get the opportunity to do that very often. They learn how other people write stories, they don't do it themselves. So this will give you a chance to do it yourself. You'll also get to learn about new media and how new media is used to convey stories. So one of the highlights of this course is a trip to the National Palace Museum to see how they are using new media such as AR and VR to bring history to life, bring the stories of history to life. So you'll get to learn about how new media is being used for that purpose. And finally, you should gain a basic understanding of how the current industries of new media are using new media to tell various stories. So next slide. So, do you want to improve your English writing? Do you want to learn how to craft a really good story, either fictional or realistic? Do you want a lot of feedback on your writing? Because I give a lot of feedback on writing. I really want you to feel confident coming out of the course. Do you want to discover the science behind stories? Something that we do is talk about how various theories, how stories bring out emotions in people, why people read or don't read certain stories, and we talk about the scientific theories and studies behind that. Do you want to produce original audiovisual content? This also has a project, much like the previous course, that will allow you to create new media content. And finally, do you want to understand more about modern journalism? Because there is kind of a divide in the course. The first half is more dedicated to writing fiction, and the second half is dedicated to writing journalism and real-life stories. So it gives you both options. So you will learn about journalism as well. Let's skip ahead. If you want to do those things, and this is probably the course for you. Also, if you enjoyed the previous course, then this one is very much a continuation and sort of an expansion on that first course. So it's good if you can take both. You can skip to the next one. In terms of how you're evaluated, this pretty much works for both of the courses, actually. It's specifically for digital narratives, but it does work for the other one too. You do have individual written assignments, and you do have group projects. The audio-visual projects are all group projects. Excuse me. And there's 10% of attendance, so just showing up, you get to have some grades, which is always nice. But we don't like bringing in guest lecturers and having them talk to no one, so we you benefit us by coming, so we benefit you. We can skip ahead. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them to me. I usually have co-teachers, but it's not always the same co-teachers every year, so I will pass on any questions that you may have to whoever is co-teaching with me in the future. But feel free to come up to me afterwards and ask any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. 非常谢谢啊 ，Dr. Cook。那 Dr. Cook 在我们这个学生里是非常认真的老师啊。大家可以看到刚才的课程，他除了这个专业的知识，他还非常认真帮同学改英文，就是所以可能同学会觉得自己以前大学的那个什么英文成绩很棒了哈，可是你真的是要